All right, guys, here we go. In this video, I'm going to call out Gareth Soloway for how bearish, negative he is on Bitcoin. And I can totally understand why. It wasn't just him, it was many, many other big time influencers last year into this year calling for, sub 12,000, 10,000 Bitcoin. And well, here we are. So I can understand the negativity. But before we get going, let me lay out everything on the table, full disclosure. Back in the day, I was a member of Gareth Soloway's In the Money stocks. Okay, I learned a lot and show you how hungry I was and desperate and where my financial, you know, level was. I had to get a part-time job to pay for the membership because it was about $100 a month. And then if you really wanted to know what was going on and the inside secret, so to speak, you had to buy the courses, which were additional several $100s a month. Okay. But anyway, hey, and then after a while, learned everything they knew and then went on to bigger and better things. And here we are. So I just say that to say this, hey, if I can do it where I came from, you certainly can too. And education and knowledge and that skill set, no one will ever take it from you. And you'll never be, intimidated by anybody from Wall Street or an institution or anything else because you can out trade them. You know the charts, you know the psychology of the market. And I mean, it just gives you an incredible edge and a lot of true confidence. But here we go with the video.
Have to start to be aware that there are factors here that are going to cause issues for Bitcoin. All right. So right now we are at a major resistance. I've said this till I'm blue in the face. The 30,500 level is the level to watch. A lot of people kind of round it down to 30,000. No, the technical level is the technical level, 30,500. Look at what we've done right along here on the chart. Bitcoin has hammered on this over and over again. This is the daily chart. We even had a doji right here, which is a bearish signal where it popped above and then got slammed down right to that level. I love how it flushed 2 days ago, rallied back, and now it's flushing again.
Okay, guys, that's true, but let's look at the charts here. This consolidation zone below, let me pull this in where you can see it, below where we are now, obviously. We have the same, pattern set up, dojis, potential pullback, however it held. And this potential resistance area until we broke up and out of it should be temporary or near-term support as we come down to it. So we have basically a safety net here, and then all this confluence in the middle here between the bottom and the top should also help with price consolidation should we get down into that trough. Not that we can't go lower, but we do have several. It's not as bearish as what he's making out to be exactly where we are right now. But let him finish up here.
The level I'm watching for short-term bias. So right now you're at resistance, but honestly, resistance can be broken. That's a possibility. But one of the things you have to recognize here is this longer-term trend line, which I just discussed with my live traders in office here just 10 minutes ago before I started this broadcast, is that this is a long-term trend, right? You hammered on it here, you hammered on it right here, you broke above it, now you hammered on the opposite side. If we break below 28,500, 400 area, and we confirm using the confirmation signal, that gives
Okay, confirmation and signal and all that is basically, 3 days, 2 to 3 days under that particular line. Doesn't matter if it's, where it is on the chart. Once price breaks to the upside or downside, you want to see, 2, 3 days of consistent price action above that resistance or support.
gives us now a downward channel or a break of the trend.
Okay, true. However, we still have some safety nets down here. Also, he didn't bring up on the chart the 50-day moving average. And I know people are going to go, well, these moving averages really don't matter that much, but they really do. The two most important ones on the chart is the 20 and the 200, but that's another story for another day. The 50 is here. And depending on how long it takes, and if it does, Bitcoin to pull down into this trough, into this area, break this support, and then come into this zone, we could have the 50 up into that area. In other words, over 27,000 in here to help. Okay. And normally the 50 is pretty strong. And then you will get a bounce off the 50. Okay. That's like an 83 to 87% probability that you will at least get a bounce off the 50 there at that time. But let's continue.
So for me, you're now, and by the way, these two lines are going to meet. So this is going to happen over the next week or two at longest. But right now, look for this support line right here. Also notice, I want to show you this, how if we connect these highs right through here, this line actually merges right at that point. So 28,500, 400, if we break below that, that is very bearish for Bitcoin. Okay. The other thing I have to talk to you guys about is there's so much FOMO out there. There is so much. You go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, you go anywhere out there. Everyone's talking about alt season. Everyone's talking about this. The alts are going to start going 100x or 10x or 5x, whatever it is. My issue with that is that basically because that narrative is out there, everyone's already positioned themselves long. If you haven't seen the alts go yet,
Okay, who are the alts? Who are these people that have already positioned themselves? Well, the retail people. We still have the institutions to look forward to coming in. I'll show you proof of that here in a second.
and everyone's already believing that it's going to happen,
And at the same time, yeah, guys, the Bulls are dancing in the end zone. If you don't want to dance in the end zone, don't let them in there, Bears, okay? And the guys that were bearish, man, you guys were pounding the table, bearish forever and ever and ever. And then when Bitcoin bottomed in November of 2022, that's when the tide changed. And then people kind of started realizing it, into January, going into February, that, hey, uh, we might be in a trend change, so on and so forth. And I can prove that to you here in a little bit as well.
that's a very, very concerning issue. Because again, think about this. Who's going to drive the alts up now? If all the little investors are in because they believe the alt season is coming after the Bitcoin run, how or who is going to now push it up via
Okay, we'll show you that in a second.
using massive amounts of money?
Okay, talking about massive amounts of money. All right, here we go. $14 trillion earthquake. Fidelity and BlackRock are quietly laying the groundwork for the next Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto price bull run. Okay, then right here, CEO Larry Fink, BlackRock, kind of a big company. The company has 8.5 trillion in assets under management. Recently partnered with Coinbase that allows its institutional clients to buy crypto, beginning with Bitcoin. And then Fidelity, if you've ever heard of them, they're too in the game, getting in the game here. And they're allowing their clients to open an account and start. I mean, they're breaking it down here, to the very elementary, rudimental level of crypto, which is nice to see. Okay, so let's continue.
That's problematic. Remember, the psychology of the market dictates, and
Well, psychology, nothing beats FOMO, okay? When the price is going up, when these altcoins start running, yeah, just like Mother Nature, you cannot defeat FOMO, and I'll show you why here in a second.
psychology is key right up here. And hey, listen, we can go to, I mean, heck, let's go to
Okay, he's getting ready to go to other charts, but let me, just on a side note, let me, guys, show you what's really going on here. Okay, let's go over here and look at, first of all, total three. This is what I like to watch. Here, let me bring this up so we can see it. Go the monthly. And as you can see here, well, actually, weekly breaks it down better for you. As you can see, we were in this descending wedge, and basically, um, this is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's why I like it. It takes the two big players out of this total three. You can type that in to your trading view. And long story short, last week we closed up and over the 50 simple week moving average. That's a big deal. Can we come back under it? Yeah, but that is, a big significant price move here. Okay, and then we're now back under this resistance zone, that red dashed line. But as soon as we see more money coming in, that'll push up and over this candle there. And also, what's positive is that we're now above and over and trading above the 20 and the 200 simple week moving averages, which is very important. Okay, and then we look at dominance, and dominance had a big Bitcoin dominance, amount of market cap it has. Anyway, big sell-off candle last week. Here we are this week. Let's go to the daily. And what I'm expecting here, we have this big downdraft, and then we're pushing up into the 20, but I'll see that we'll only make maybe a shallow pullback and then continue to the downside. And look at there, there's the 50 again. There's our blue dash line that our Patreon members know about regarding support, so on and so forth. And then as Bitcoin goes down, what happens on the daily chart, if you look, this is the trick, this is the system. When Bitcoin dominance is red and Bitcoin is green, then the alts are pumping. Okay, then you get a confirmation about that by going over to your total 3 chart. And if you're in a decent any type of decent altcoin, and there's all kinds out there, your candle on that altcoin should match the candle here. This is the weekly chart. So going back here after the COVID slammed down, we had this big run up. Yeah, your should be similar to the candle that's on total 3. Okay, and if after the video backtrack and take a look at that, you'll see what I'm talking about, how all that lines up. Okay, and then one more thing here. We'll look at how we found the bottom. There's a couple of factors there. We got to give a shout out as well. Let me go to monthly, take all this off. First of all, each white arrow is pointing to the halving month, okay? And our next halving is right here, 2024, March. But anyway, if you measure back, I give full credit, shout out everything else to Nikos over there on Twitter. And then we did our own um, quasi kind of bro science thesis here. We were 5 days off. Okay, my thesis and his about 5 days off. But when you're looking at a couple of years, pullback, whatever, I don't think 5 days is that big of a difference. But you start with the halving and you count back 470 days. If you do that, that's November of 2022. That's why I say. And if you look at my Twitter, you can do a search over there, and we were calling for the bottom in Bitcoin at being November of 2022. Okay, and then on a side note, we consolidate, breakout, run up into the halving, and then breakout again. Consolidate, breakout, up into the halving, and then breakout again after each all-time high. So far, it's 100. Bitcoin's 100% at this. Now, do 100%, wins. Are they ever broken 100% record? Yeah, and this, I mean, we might do it this year. Who knows? But 100% of the time so far, knock on wood, after Bitcoin puts in an all-time high, then pulls back and then surpasses that all-time high and never has come back in and taken it out. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. So anyway, let's get back to the video. There's something else I wanted to show you here. If I can get to it. Yeah, right in here.
Move to the upside, but it is again pulling back.
Okay, we're talking
Natural
about
gas.
natural
What has
gas.
natural gas done? It has started to rip higher. Take a look at this. It is down today, but what a move the last few days. I love that move to the upside, but it is again pulling back today just a little bit. All right.
Okay, now let me show you that. If you follow my YouTube for any length of time, we've been calling this natural gas play almost every day. And what we did actually on the weekly chart, we went back here and showed you a measure move, the green dash line that our Patreon members know about. And then that blue dash line here, that low pivot there, we said that was going to be support. So far it's held at 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay. And then yesterday we did a video. Hey, there's that 50 again. What do you know? We did a video saying that natural gas is going to hit resistance and start pulling back exactly where it did. Okay. And then that red dash line was the second factor. And the third factor was that green dash line, that measured move I was telling you about. That has a 83 to 87% probability of success as resistance if you move into it, or support as you come down into it. And so, yeah, just knowing those things. And if you have two or more factors, reasons for a move in your thesis, then you have an 83% chance that will prove true. Okay. And you just can't go in there on a feeling. There was some other things. We were on a time count, so on and so forth. So we had, more than two factors here saying that we're going to get a pullback today. Okay. And you just can't go in on a feeling or a thought or whatever. It'd be like your heart surgeon going in and going, well, I feel this aorta is the one that needs to be chopped on, or I have a, or I think it is. He's not going to be in business very long, and neither are you. So that's why you need to get education. If you have to sacrifice, even like I did, get your education, get knowledge on this stuff, and you'll profit for life. Okay. And that way you won't be, I don't know, like a deer in the headlights when a big influencer on YouTube or CNBC or somebody else, or even Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan coming out saying, what a forced, Bitcoin is, while behind closed doors, they're buying it, under the table, hands over fist. And, nobody cares more about your money than you do. So that's why you need to get educated, know how to do this stuff on your own. And that way you can sit here and be confident and know exactly what the market's going to do within a reasonable probability. Okay, and that's all it is odds and probability, and that's what you need to learn to do. And this is what we're trying to perfect too, because there's ongoing study. You always have to be training, learning, practicing to stay ahead of the game. But all right, guys, enough of the rant. Just wanted to let you know that that you can learn this stuff too. You can be good too. You can make supplemental income and multi-generational wealth as well. And with that, we will see you on the charts.